Here we go again. Anything is possible. And the crowd absolutely love it. This is why we love Formula One.
Well, goodness me, we predicted we may have a one-stop in dry conditions. We did not get that, did we? Oscar Piastri has won the Dutch Grand Prix, but that does not even tell you 1/10 of the story that has unfolded here in the sand dunes of Zandvoort. We have had massive DNFs, including championship rival Lando Norris, and a first-time podium for Isaac Hadjar. What a story. Welcome along to your post-race show. Ruth Buscombe, Jolyon Palmer alongside me to try and unfurl and unfold all that has happened there. We start, though, with Oscar Piastri. It was a consummate win, defending safety car restarts from Max Verstappen on soft tyres, making sure he got the start right. He didn't put a foot wrong. He has a 34-point lead, Jolyon, in the standings. What a race from him.
Yeah, great race from him. I still think the main bulk of his work was done yesterday in getting the pole, and then he just defended that nicely, got the start, as you say, held on in the safety car. I still think Lando was probably the stronger driver this weekend, but Oscar is so good at delivering in the critical times in Q3, and he's good at absorbing pressure as well, so off the line and on those restarts. And you never felt like he was really going to lose it, even though Lando was huffing and puffing.
I know. That failure, PU failure for Lando Norris. They were trading lap times. It was looking oh so good for the climax of this race, Ruth, but ultimately no, a DNF, and such a costly one.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking, isn't it? And you can tell when you're race engineer, you know, we're supposed to be the boring, cool ones. When you hear the heartbreaking Will Joseph's voice as well, you know, it was almost Lando consoling him. You know, it was really reminiscent to me of the Malaysia DNF in 2016 of Lewis Hamilton when he was in that championship battle with Nico Rosberg that Nico went on to win, and that, you know, actually it's still a reliability game. You know, we have those 4 power units to last us. You can use it in whatever order you want or last the season, and it all comes down to these micro details. Yeah, you hope that's not the defining element of the championship, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. And on those power units, yeah, it's his 4th and final use, but not necessarily that means that he has 4 and has to take that penalty and have therefore a pit lane start in Monza. We don't know that yet, do we?
We also don't know the extent of the damage to it. I mean, it obviously didn't look good, and the fact that he's stopped out on track is in the Grand Prix shows it's severe, but they might be able to salvage some parts. Yeah, it's just gutting to have a mechanical DNF. It's out of your control. And I feel bad because I was talking before the weekend about how I thought Oscar had been a bit unlucky this season. It caught the attention of Lando, and hence he made some remarks to me after qualifying saying, you know, hopefully he'll find some of his usual luck. He didn't. And sometimes what goes around, it comes back, and Lando will obviously be hoping that he can now go on a run. And 34 points behind, it's far from over. There's still 9 races to go. You can have these big swings, and he's just got to dig deep and get back to his best. That's
the brutality of sport, isn't it? 1 minute you're right in the game. All right, it may have been a 16-point lead for Oscar after the end of this one, but you're still there. He's suddenly looking at a DNF. Is it a good thing or mentally a tricky, challenging thing that he has a race next weekend? He's got to get straight back to it. It can go either way, I suppose.
Do you know what? I think I'd want to go again. Yeah. You know, I think Monza, you know, it's 7 points. You can start cutting it down. In 5 races, if I'm first every single race, I'm back in front. You know, and there's still 9 to go. You've got Singapore that's coming up. There's a kind of classically Lando track, those low-speed corners. You know, they took one of those fresh power units in Belgium. One, as an engineer, would normally expect to see that one running in Monza. Obviously, everyone's allowed to do them how they want. So, you know, I think it will be a clean slate. And, you know, I think we've seen some of the best of Lando when he's on the back foot, when he's got that charge in him. And I think they'll be ready to go again.
I think, ironically, he now needs the rivals to step up, because at the moment, it's a 1-2 in either way. But now with 34 points, that's 5 races of him beating Oscar in a row, and he'll get a 1-point lead in the championship. He needs Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes to start being able to get in the mix as well, so that when he wins, it might be that Oscar's actually not even on the podium because Max is there and George is there and Charles there, Lewis. So we will see. This has been a very good McLaren track. We knew it was going to be, but yeah, if it's just chipping away 7 points at a time, he's got to be almost perfect now for the rest of the year.
And it's to take nothing away from Oscar that this gap is now bigger than it could have been with about 8 laps to go compared to a lap later when of course Lando had the power unit failure, because he got it done in qualifying yesterday on a track in which it's vital to qualify well. And he's, Julian, I know you mentioned Oscar Piastri's been unlucky at times, but also looking at all the stats, you noted that he has ultimately been driving better than Lando Norris this season.
Look, he has. By the stats that we have, he's out-qualified Lando, he's out-raced Lando. And I mean, I looked over the summer break. He could have had a 60-point lead at the summer break had he kept the win at Silverstone, had he not had the strategy that came into effect in Hungary, other things that have gone away, the Australia thing, which by my metrics was a bit unlucky for him. Now, obviously, he's had a dose of luck with Lando losing 18 points. It's harsh, but Lando is still there in the fight. Oscar now has the lead that probably his performance has deserved after 15 races.
I'm looking over your shoulder because we have Ollie Behrman standing on the sidelines looking a little lost, so I'm going to invite you in. Ollie Behrman, pit lane to P6.
I'm a bit sweaty.
I didn't know if you looked happy enough for a P6 there as you're walking in.
I don't know what happened, honestly, in the last 2 hours. So, no, I'm so happy about the result. 2 cars in the points as well, which is fantastic. And yeah, it's been a long time coming. You know, we needed a bit of luck recently. We've missed out on that. So I'm happy to have that result.
I know you're not sure what happened, but can you try and talk us through exactly what it was? Because you were one of the hard starters, so you might as well gamble from the pit lane, reverse that strategy.
Yeah, it made sense. You know, it's really tough to overtake on this track. So we were banking on the safety car at the right time and everything like that. Of course, that was the first safety car, which for me, I was like, okay, race over. We're going to be last now, because that gave everyone on the medium a free stop. But then another one came, and you know, often safety cars breed more safety cars. So you know, that worked out. Yeah, when that safety car came out, I was very happy. But you know, definitely a bit lucky as well.
Ollie, you did 53 laps on the hard, which is no mean feat. A lot of other drivers did not manage to keep extending it. Explain to us in the car, how does it feel after that first safety car? You know, you say you give up, but you never really do you? You keep going.
No.
Was the focus always keep going until we get a safety car, or we basically get to the end of the race?
Yeah, I think the plan was just to get as deep into the race as possible. At some point, with 25 laps to go, I was, you know, quite vocal with the guys, saying, look, we're going to have to bail on this and just get a new tire on the car and get back to work. The most difficult thing about doing so many laps on that same tire is, especially this track is very demanding on the front left. And, you know, after 2 safety car restarts, the tire cools down a lot during that safety car, and restarting it is the most difficult thing. And I had pressure from guys behind who were on much newer tires. Luckily, I was able to stay in the DRS, and, you know, in a track like this, as long as you're in the DRS, you can keep the position.
Ollie, you said you needed a bit of luck. It has been a tricky run. You've had some moments, I think, where you've proven that in your rookie year, there are a few things to learn. We're thinking of the red flag infringements that I'm sure you've learned a lot of lessons from. How much have you needed a result like today?
Yeah, I needed it desperately. There's been too many mistakes from my side in this first half of the season. You know, I had a big reset over the summer break and kind of looked back at all my performances, good and bad. There's been a lot of times where I've really shown what I'm capable of, but also a lot of mistakes, which on one hand I expected, but on the other hand, should improve on, and that's what the second half of the season is all about. This weekend still wasn't perfect, you know, going into the race. We had a really poor qualifying. We understand why as a team we had a bit of an issue in the final set of tires. So, you know, as a group, we're still not perfect, but the potential is really there. You know, the car is fantastic, and I'm really confident for these next nine races.
9 races to go. And look, this is what your rookie season is for, right? To make those mistakes, to learn from them, to bounce back quickly. And you've done just that. And today you executed everything you could to perfection. So P6, such valuable points for the team, and double points at that. Well done.
Thank you.
See you in Monza. Good luck.
See you there. Thanks.
Okay, well, Ollie Behrman there, pit lane to P6, brilliant story. What did you make? He's just actually embracing his girlfriend. I think he was looking out for her as well. You can tell how much it means to both of them. It was a fantastic race, doing everything right at the right time. And look, sometimes luck falls your way, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah,
I thought Haas did a good job from the pit wall. They started last. I mean, he started in the pit lane. Esteban was right at the back of the grid as well, 18th with just Lance behind. So if you're going to get points, you need to do something different. They did, and it came towards them.
Right, we're going to take a look back now, because honestly, I'm not sure any of us quite know how everything has transpired. So here are the race highlights. This might be quite a long one for you.
The Dutch Grand Prix is underway. Oscar Piastri is looking across at his teammate, and he does cut across. Piastri holds the lead. Max Verstappen around the outside and nearly dropping the car. You can see Max has to go defensive. Around the outside, trying the move, pulling the move off. Yellow flag is out. Lewis Hamilton is off the road and out of the race.
Are you okay?
Yeah, sorry guys.
Carlos Sainz and there's contact between the Williams and the Racing Bulls. Charles Leclerc trying to go around the outside. They bang wheels and barging through. Oh, he hits him! Kimi Antonelli into the side of Charles Leclerc. The Mercedes and the Ferrari make contact, and both Ferraris having drama at turn 3. There is smoke.
Smoke in the cockpit. Okay, mate, we're checking.
Lando Norris has a problem.
Oil leak. I'm out.
So he's dealt with Lando Norris on a safety car restart.
He weaves, and he will take us back to racing conditions. Verstappen trying to close in. Piastri looking at the mirrors, and Piastri knows that this is the crucial moment in the championship battle. Oscar Piastri wins the Dutch Grand Prix.
Great job. Really, really strong.
I tell you what, coming into the race today, we did all say, look, this may not be a classic. It might be a dry one-stop on a track where it's difficult to overtake. If that's what happens after we predict a bit of a processional race, I'm happy to say that every weekend, because look at what we've just seen. Controversy, talking points, brilliant drives, and a first-time podium for Isaac Hadjar. I mean, he was asked in the Drivers' Parade, is it possible? He said, of course I'm gunning for that, but it's not realistic.
Well, that's Alan Permain on the grid.
Yeah.
And he said, well, yeah, we'll see, realistically,
Yeah.
we'll try and fight with the Williams, we'll try and fight with the Aston Martins, but it's difficult to overtake. And I just thought he did an amazing job. If you're in a racing build, you kind of mostly need something to happen to get a podium. Even when you look at, Ocon winning in the Alpine or some of Gasly's great drives for the team before, they require a little bit of intervention to get there. But actually, really, this was minimal intervention. Yes, Norris's retirement gave him the third, but otherwise he's just fourth on merit on a really, really great day for them.
How did Isaac Hadjar do it within the race itself then? Because he had to get everything right and the team had to get everything right.
I think it's a combination of, you see the drivers that have made errors in that race, and it was driving errors or strategic errors, and they didn't put a football. Also, defending, it was not easy. I think you have to give credit to him on every single level, to be honest.
Yeah, every metric. We're going to now welcome another driver into our studio here. Alex Albon, welcome in from P15.
Yes.
And that qualifying yesterday, for which we heard your frustration for the poor outlap, for how it complicated your lap in the end, to P5. Can we start with the start? Because we were busy watching Max with the ultimate save to keep himself out of the dirt. But how did you go from P15 to P10?
Honestly, it felt a little bit like the waves parted and everyone gave me the obvious line. Sometimes it generally goes inside or outside. Sometimes you get stuck in the middle. And it all made sense to me. So we had a good launch. I honestly had a really good formation lap, and I felt really good grip on the formation lap, which gave me confidence on that one.
So you're on the outside there, trying to steal it on Yuki.
Exactly. So I did 2 around the outside in turn 1, and then I did 2 around the outside into turn 3. Honestly, the move later around the lap, I was quite close to Carlos.
Oh.
But I didn't want to get greedy on my teammate. So I stayed behind and followed suit and settled into the race. But that basically put us immediately into the race. And we did the strategy this morning, and it was one of the most boring race strategies you could do. And it was like, this is going to be our race then. We'll look forward to Monza. But as soon as we had that good start, the cards opened up and we consolidated some good points.
Well, that's brilliant, because you had new boots on the car to start the formation lap, and you were like, hang on, this just feels good.
Yes.
So immediately your mindset goes, let's go attacking, and it happened.
Exactly. As soon as you feel good formation lap grip, you can be a bit more aggressive on your clutch drop. You can be more aggressive on your second phase of your start as well. You can obviously be aggressive into turn 1 on the brakes. And you do, just generally it feels good to know that you can go into turn 1 and you feel like you've got a bit more grip than the other people. I wouldn't say lap 1s are normally my most known thing, and so it was nice to have a good one.
Statistically, you are actually quite high on the rankings, actually, Alex, on
Oh.
one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all right, don't worry. So other than the fact that you said the strategy was boring, so yesterday you spent 3 minutes in the pit lane because of the traffic, you know, we
Yes.
spoke about it, and your tyres, you know, fell out that window.
Yeah.
Today you mentioned you're the opposite on the medium tyre.
Yeah.
Do you think you as a team, as Williams, are learning more about getting those tyres into the right working window, whether your car is maybe a bit more peaky compared to some of your competitors?
It's one area where honestly we struggle with. I think on some weekends it just works and we're quick. Other weekends we have to work for it more, and we are much more dependent on the perfect outlap or no traffic in the pit lane, which you see more and more this year. And then even the race itself. So we were really competitive on the medium. We were really quick on the medium. We were really quick on the soft. But on the hard, we were just not quick at all. And we can see these traits, and it's always the same cars that seem to, doesn't matter if it's 0 degrees outside, they can do a slow outlap and just go and have grip into turn one. We're not like that at all. And in the hard tyre in the race, we have the same issue where it just seems like they can get the tyre to bite and we can't. So we need to figure out why that is.
Ultimately, strategy today for you ended up being, with the 5 places gained off the start, you were then able to pit under both safety cars, and that catapulted you right up there.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know what happened on summer break. I feel like everyone's come back and it's just gone chaos. Maybe we're all just too excited to get back into racing. But yeah, I mean, I was P10 and then I just stayed on track, and then I was P5, and that was my race. So we definitely had the rub of the green, but we at least got ourselves in the position to be there in case, you know, when everyone did make contact or go off, we were there to capitalise.
You said the strategy was boring. Was it going to be a one-stop medium to hard, or hard? Would you try the hard to medium?
I mean, that's why we started on the medium, because we wanted the flexibility. I think some teams committed to the two-stop. We wanted to have the good start to kind of, you know, this wasn't an opportunity we didn't expect. We knew if we had a good start on the medium with the rain coming, there was a lot that we could do. So in many ways, you could say we created our own luck. We gave ourselves the options with the weather and the strategy to pit under a safety car situation, and we made it work.
I almost forgot it rained. So much has happened this race.
Yeah.
I guess it was pretty light rain. Very quickly, Monza, how are you feeling for it? How's the car going to be?
Always a good race for us. Always a good track for us. I don't think we quite have the straight line speed advantage as we've had in previous years, so I don't think it's going to be that obvious. But I do expect us to go well. I find when we're on the low downforce swing, our car is better balanced than the high downforce swing, which we're still understanding, but we'll take it for next week.
A not so slippery Williams, but
Yeah.
one that may well be back in the points. Alex, well done today.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you as ever. Always so good to hear your
Thank you, guys.
insights.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex. Okay, well, that was Alex Albon on one side of the garage, P5 from P15. But for Carlos Sainz, not to be today from a points-paying position, this is the incident, and this is what he had to say.
Carlos, it's not often we really hear you so upset on the radio. Just give me your thoughts right now after the race.
Yeah, I think I always try and be quite controlled and pick my words on the radio quite well. Let's say level-headed. I try in this high adrenaline, high stressful sport. Today was very difficult because first of all I suffered an incident that cost me another 10 points in the championship when I was executing one of my best weekends of the year. That's frustration number one. Frustration number two is racing a guy that it's not the first time that we see him exposing himself to having an incident with another driver just to make sure there's not even a side-by-side action or a side-by-side movement. I've raced multiple guys around this track in turn one, and multiple quality guys that allow for a side-by-side movement like that in a beautiful corner like it's Sandboard turn one. Today I chose to have that side-by-side line with someone that prefers not to have it and prefers to risk an incident and risk losing so many points when the other car is on a podium. So it's very frustrating, very disappointed. But on top of that, to get a 10-second penalty is something unacceptable, something that I don't understand, something that I need explanation, and yet very confused.
So is it still the plan to go to the talk to the stewards after this, and also will you talk to Liam?
Yeah, I'm planning to talk to both. I would rather do it with some piece of video in front of me. I've already reviewed it myself,
Okay.
and I've seen what I had to see. But the most confusing part is, yeah, the FIA always tells us that the doors are open to go and see the stewards and to consult any kind of doubts. I just received a message that they don't want to, that they would rather not talk to me right now. So, yeah, it's something that, I don't know where this comes from, but it's not like I'm gonna do anything crazy. I'm just trying to get an explanation.
All right, well, thank you very much, Carlos. Hard luck.
A wry smile on his face, but you can sense the frustration there for Carlos Sainz. I think consensus within the commentary box as well was that it was a harsh penalty. We are going to come on to it in a moment, though. As I'm just feeling a few spots of rain, we are going to welcome in one of our other drivers who made it into the points. Come on in, Esteban.
Hello.
P10 for you, so you come in between us there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Well done. We've had Ollie on to talk us through. He said, I don't know what's just happened in the last 2 hours. He seemed a little confused.
I think we're all confused a little
What do you think happened?
No, I think a lot has happened. Obviously, we were starting last, both of us. We had the worst Saturday that, we could have wished for. We didn't have much pace on that Saturday quali, and, we tried the difficult strategy to get to somewhere. We were hoping that, we would have enough pace to make it work, and we did. We made our homework well. And, we got double points for the team, which is, amazing. I lost a bit out of the safety car. That's the only thing that bothers me a little bit from that race. But as a team, we maximized that. And that's been awesome. So really happy with this.
Because you were actually ahead of Ollie. You obviously started on the grid and then were ahead. You were running 10th and 11th.
Yes.
How did he get past you? Because there was so much going on in that race. You pitted before the safety car?
Yeah, no, so basically when I pitted, the safety car came when I was stopped. So I lost some times on that. I mean, you can maybe explain, why I lost the time. That's definitely when I lost. I didn't lose too early because we raced together the whole race. But I lost to Tsunoda and I lost also to Stroll, I think. So there was quite a few positions that we lost. But anyway, a good result for us all. And I think well done to Isaac. We have to applaud him as a fellow Frenchman. I'm happy to give support, give him a word, because he's been outstanding this weekend, and he's going to have a good party tonight.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
I have to say well done to you, because that's a lovely description from a driver of a strategic, mishap in terms of the safety car. But on the grid, right, you're starting on the hard tyres, which I said I wouldn't start on the grid on. I'd start from the pit lane, fine. How was it on those first laps? Because we saw even Max with the sand and everything.
Yeah.
How was it on lap one?
Yeah, it was tricky. It was tricky for the first couple of corners, but I gained a position. So the launch was terrible, but through turn 2 and then into turn 3, I managed to pass Nico, which was quite good. He got me a couple of corners later, unfortunately, because we didn't have much grip. But no, overall it was good. We knew it was going to be our only chance of having something out of today. Actually, we had the pace probably for another strategy as well. So it was good surprises.
On to Monza then. Can I ask what's in here? You've got a recovery shake. What's going on?
Yeah, it's very
Doesn't
thick.
look appetizing, but I'm sure it's
not fantastic.
doing its good.
There's some chia?
Yeah, chia seeds.
Yeah, chia
yes,
seeds.
Very healthy.
There's probably some Nutella in there, some almond milk, banana.
Delicious.
And everything to get more calories. I'm trying to stay on the weight, otherwise I lose a lot. So yeah, it's quite thick. It's not great.
Refuel, get ready for Monza.
But if you want, we can prep one if you want to try.
Please, we'll make a feature of it on F1 TV.
No problem.
Thank you. I'll pop by the garage next race.
No worries.
Esteban, well done today.
Thanks, guys.
Brilliant
Thank
stuff
you.
for the
Have a
team.
good evening.
Thank you so much.
I don't know how appetizing it looked, to be honest.
No, I'm not entirely sure how appetizing that was. Okay, obviously, brilliant for Isaac Kadjar. We do have two opposing sides of the McLaren garage who are battling each other. For one, it was the ecstasy of a win. For the other, it was the cruelty of a DNF and a mechanical failure. Ariana Bravo is talking to Andrea Stella.
Guys. Andrea, really a great day on one side of the garage and a really heartbreaking day on the other. Let's start by talking about Lando. Have you had a chance to speak with him since the race, and how is he doing after that?
First of all, I have to say you are right. I think we experienced today the two extremes of motorsport, where we were happy on one side, joy for the victory, for McLaren, for the team coming back from the break, and for Oscar, great drive this weekend. And on the opposite side, we have the pain, the disappointment for Lando. He drove well as well. He was there in contention to win the race. But then we had a problem with the car, something that we are still investigating. And you know, Lando, as soon as he stopped the car, he got on the radio. He said, like, you know, it's just bad luck, nothing that we can control. And I know that I haven't talked to him yet, but I know that he has already said very clearly that we look forward, we'll look at the next race, we will try and recover the points. And that's the spirit, the ethos, the attitude that we expect in Lando, like in any driver. So I think it's, we look forward to fighting spirit from Lando's side. And yeah, just joy for Oscar, but it's still not even 2/3 of this championship. Long way to go.
I'm really glad to hear that Lando is showing that fighting spirit so soon after that incident. Of course, the championship gap does open up now to 34 points, though. As a team, how do you now work to help build up Lando and keep enforcing this fighting spirit that you've mentioned on when the person he's fighting against is on the other side of the garage as well?
Well, the fighting spirit and the racing attitude, the competitiveness, I don't think we have to do anything. This is natural, this is very strong in Lando, likewise in Oscar. So from this point of view, not much we can do. I think what we will do is try to keep enforcing our racing principles so that Lando and Oscar can express their talent, their ability, can have their chances to pursue their aspiration to become world champions. So that's what we can and what we will do. And it's just a shame that today somehow it was a problem with the car that kind of interfered as a factor with their individual quest. But let's see how the race and the following races and the championship will unfold. Certainly we will keep pushing and we will keep supporting both drivers the same.
And can we also get a word on Oscar's race? Because what a strong race from him. He was dealing with several safety car restarts, the drizzle of rain, just completely in control as we're often used to seeing Oscar.
Yeah, in control, and I think with Oscar, you know, like he makes it look simple. He makes it look simple. He was very calm, like always, and fast at the same time, precise in execution. So a deserved victory. In fairness, today there wasn't, like in qualifying. Qualifying we had 10 milliseconds or something. Today the whole race very close between Oscar and Lando. That's great to see for the team, great to see for Formula One. Today was Oscar's day, but there's another 9 races in which we can see who's going to prevail.
And we look forward to them. Thank you very much for talking with us, and congratulations on the win.
Still all to play for then for McLaren. We'll wait to see if that PU failure today for Lando Norris has any impact moving ahead, of course, to Monza and a potential pit lane start. We'll wait and see. But let's hear now from what I'm sure will be a disappointed Lando Norris.
Hey Lando, I know there's nothing obviously I can say after a race like that. Just talk me through though how you're feeling. I saw you have a sit down, kind of took a moment for yourself out on the grass after a tough moment.
I mean, it's just tough race, so I wanted to sit down. I was, I guess, a bit disappointed, but nothing I can really do about it in the end. So, yeah, frustrating, but nothing is out of my control, so nothing I can do.
Up until that point, do you feel like you gave it a good go? Because you look faster there. You did what you could, I guess, to get yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do a lot around here. You know, especially I felt a bit quicker. You know. But you have to be like 8/10 quicker to overtake around here, and I'm not 8/10. Yeah, to follow within 2 seconds pretty much the whole race was a good drive today. Like nothing more I can really ask. You know, you start to get dirty air at 4 seconds. To be within 3 or 2, I wasn't really expecting today. So.
Guys?
Yeah.
There was Lando there. I'm not quite sure what was going on with the interview, but you were hearing there just how difficult it was to really do anything. And ultimately, the PU failure meant that his race was over. It's a 34-point lead for Oscar Piastri. The championship not over by any stretch, Jolien, that's for sure, isn't it? We want to see a championship battle rumble all the way to Abu Dhabi, don't we?
That's why we're here. We want to see the best drama of the sport, and yeah, I mean, it'd be great for Lando if he can dig in, but he has to acknowledge the other side of the garage is doing a very good job as well. And like he said, actually, I think Lando to be that close for that long is a really good effort for him, but he was probably still heading towards a P2, so he now needs to just be the best Lando that he can be for the last 9 races and just go and attack and see what he can do. Because, yeah, a title fight between the 2 McLarens in Abu Dhabi would be poetic after this year.
It'd be wonderful for all the fans, whether you're Oscar fans, whether you're Lando fans, whether you're a neutral somewhere in between. It's what F1's all about. Ruth, I guess the result today, McLaren are going to have to get used to dealing with these contrasting driver emotions, because come, let's say, Vegas, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, wherever this championship is sewn up, one driver will have achieved a lifelong dream and the other will be left absolutely devastated.
Yeah, and you can see there, it's control what you can control. Actually, I think Lando really handled that very well. For him to be, often we, the press, other teams have been critical of the way that he handles his emotions. He handled them brilliantly on that radio, I think, in terms of with the race engineer. And actually, if he can win the next 5 races, he's back. There could be a DNF on Oscar's side of things. There's no guarantee in racing, in sports, that you're going to be able to do it. And I think it's a case of maximising everything that he can do to beat Oscar every single race.
It was his first mechanical retirement for nearly 3 years, though. That shows how rare they are. And Oscar's on an incredible run of point-scoring form as well. So it is a rarity that someone has this. But I do agree with you. I think Lando's taken some setbacks on the chin this year as well, and I've spoken to him quite a few times. Even yesterday was one where he was just pipped to pole and felt like it was going to be his day, and it wasn't. Spa as well. Spoke to him straight after the race, and he was on pole and just lost out with Oscar on the restart. And he takes defeat quite well, and today was obviously a real kick in the teeth because there was nothing on his part. It was a mechanical component that's let go. But I do feel like he'll put it to the back of his mind and reset pretty quickly.
I think, in a sense, as we said, it's a good thing Monza comes up and comes so quickly next week. We had 3 retirements today, 3 big stars of this sport. Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, also out. Let's hear from them.
Hey Lewis, obviously you look good with pace up until the point of the accident. Did the car feel good, and just what happened when you kind of lost it and obviously you ran a little bit wide?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I generally felt like it was going okay. I had good pace compared to Charles ahead of me, and my tyres were still okay. The rear was getting a bit twitchy, and I got to turn 3 and had a snap, and I can recover.
How much does it hurt? Because it felt like you made real progress this weekend, and obviously without that it could have been a really strong result.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a normal sort of thing for me to have crash out of a race. So can't really say too much more about it.
Right, see you at the next one. Hey Charles, can you just give me your thoughts, obviously, on the decision to pit to try and cover Kimi, which put you in the position to then get exposed to Kimi on warmer tyres?
I don't think this should be the story of the day. I think, the strategy, we can discuss about it, and I just let the team know, but it's not that created the incident. What created the incident is Kimi being overly optimistic in the entry of, in the inside of turn 3, which is fine. I mean, you've got to be aggressive, and mistakes happen, but it hurts because it costs a lot to the team. And after what was a good race, I think the pace was good. I had to be very aggressive to make up the places that we've lost because being unlucky during the first safety car. I mean, we did kind of everything right, so it was a shame.
From that pace that you showed, and obviously that great move on George as well, does that give you some encouragement if you look really deep within the car that there is some performance out there?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a very difficult weekend. Apart from the race, it's been an uphill weekend, so I hope we can start on a better foot in Monza and have a better weekend overall.
Thank you.
Double DNF for Ferrari. That is not what any of us expected. We thought P6 and P7 was disappointing. A double DNF is another thing altogether. I'm going to come to Lawrence's opening question there to Charles Leclerc about why Ferrari pitted him. I'm sure many of you at home were shouting at the telly to say, why are Ferrari pitting him? Ruth, explain why they are and why it may or may not have been a good idea.
So when he said cover off Antonelli, basically, if Ferrari, with their numbers that they're seeing, which are, they get more channels than we see. Sure. So on lap times, he wasn't falling away. He was, pretty solid. Degradation was good. It was about 0.08, which is in the middle of the field. They might have seen something in terms of a projection. They might have information from that first set of tyres that meant that they thought, with the pace of Antonelli coming through on a 2-stop race, that they would be at threat. So they decided to cover that threat off. Now, that tyre that we go on, every tyre here has a bit of a warm-up. But I do also agree, I probably wouldn't have boxed the car. I think strategist Laura, you asked me the same question. But
I asked the question. I'm not telling anyone how to do their job.
But everybody asks the question. You know, it's a natural thing. Charles himself asked the question. He may have seen information since asking that question that meant that, actually, we were going to hit a wear limit, or, there was some element of that tyre that was there. So we never really know from the outside. But I do agree that I think the story is actually that move from Antonelli was over-optimistic.
It wasn't a disaster, the pit stop choice, was it? Because even, he had covered off Antonelli minus the ambitious attempt from Kimi. They then had to pass both of them, Alex Albon and George Russell, but it should have been possible for a Ferrari on new tyres. And then he's back up to Hadjar anyway. So the decision for Ferrari covered off Kimi, but it also put a bit of pressure on Isaac Hadjar and Racing Bulls, because otherwise the alternative is you sit there, you're in 5th place at the time, and you just take 5th and you're worried about Kimi coming up behind you. So it was sort of proactive. And what Charles said there, I don't think that was the story. The story was really the Mercedes.
You say he was sitting in 5th. He took 5th from George Russell because of a pretty incredible move himself. Here it is. Jolyon, talk us through this, because, I was out of my seat.
Yeah, this is swashbuckling stuff from Leclerc, and you love to see an aggressive move like this, but he's coming from a long way back, and he does just go off the road. So he's still under investigation. And that is probably why the stewards didn't want to see Carlos right now as well. Back to that incident, because they're still busy dealing with the one that happened eons ago. I love the attempt, but I do think that was probably from a little bit too far back, and there was a bit of contact with George and he didn't have the space and all the rest of it. But yeah, it was, I think, Charles trying to do anything he possibly could to clear the Mercedes. It probably wasn't really on.
I think we'd have to see all angles of it, but did he keep that rear tyre on the road when he was through the gravel? We couldn't quite see, I suppose.
I think he didn't, which is why I think, it should be a penalty. But maybe there'll be another angle. If he did keep it on, it's an amazing move, and it's brave, and it's a bit of argy-bargy.
Let's see if we can see it here.
Well, the right rear is going to be the one, isn't it? But it's coming from so far back. That's the thing, and it's. I don't think George is expecting it. Now he probably is, but it's a little bit late to do too much. He's never really properly alongside. There's a bit of contact there. I don't think that right rear will stay on the track, and I am just disappointed that can't be decided during the race, because now you've got a weird situation where you've got Charles out the race. If he is to get a penalty, what penalty do you give him? A time penalty for a guy that's been parked up on the side of the road for 20 laps? Doesn't feel right. Grid penalty doesn't feel right either. I just don't like these.
Yeah, there were questions as to why that was not decided within the race itself. It did ultimately turn out to be a very, very busy race, though. Well, George Russell did, in the end, finish P5 for Kimi Antonelli, though, causing that instant 15-second penalty, including speeding in the pit lane. Let's hear from Toto.
Toto, we just saw you catching up with Kimi there. Just talk to us about what was being said in that conversation, please.
Well, he came here a bit confused. So difficult for a young driver to strike the balance right between, going for it and then having an accident like that. He had pace once he was in free air, caught up, but then obviously everything was lost with the accident.
Can you just give us your opinion on that instant with Charles there? Up until that point, it seemed that Kimi was having a really strong race. Just talk us through that incident there.
I think, Leclerc came out just before him. Kimi was right there, the tires in the optimum space. And then, Leclerc, takes what is the fastest line up the hill, and then Kimi just tries to dive in and understeers into him, and then Leclerc obviously coming down, because that's the way you drive there, and then it's unfortunate to take a Ferrari out.
Are you able to take positives from his performance prior to that, though? Because we know that he's had a difficult few weeks, but it seemed that it was actually looking quite strong ahead of that.
We always said that since the beginning of the season that this is a learning year. We want him to make mistakes, or rather not doing mistakes, but the mistakes this year is one thing. Next year we don't want to do them anymore. So like the pit lane speeding or collisions, this is the time to do. We're not fighting for a championship, at best for P2 or P3, so it's allowed.
And then over on George's side of the garage, he also had an incident with Charles as well, investigated after the race. Can you give your thoughts on both the incident and the decision to investigate it after the race?
I'm looking at it from, let's say, the global picture after the race. We don't want to have Charles having a grid penalty for Monza because of the way he lost his race with one of our cars. On the other side, I don't think that was an overtaking spot on the left side. You can try to squeeze, but that's never going to go. And in that sense, I would rather say that was Charles' fault.
Okay, thank you very much for
Thank you
talking
very
with us,
much.
Toto.
Thank you.
Sorry, it was a P4 for George Russell, not a P5, my mistake. But for Antonelli, I guess some buoying words there from Toto Wolff. There were some positives to take, Julian, before the ultimate crash.
Yeah, it was a much better drive, wasn't it? He made a nice overtake, was looking quicker. Obviously had the team orders to go past George when George had a bit of damage, but the fact that he was even there and was looking like he could fight with the Ferrari, the lead Ferrari, is a good effort. So he's still young, he's still trying to pick up the experience and the confidence, and I think he should still take that from the race.
Okay, Max Verstappen. Oh, here we go, we're just watching the moment again. And there it is. Charles Leclerc out the race and Kimi Antonelli ultimately with a penalty that saw him right down. On to Verstappen and a home podium. And I really liked the way Red Bull approached this race. We were speaking to Paul Monahan on the grid, and he was buoyant. He was giving me very direct, short answers. He was joking around. He looked very confident. And then, as soon as we saw the formation lap, you understand why. He stuck those Red Bulls on the soft tyre. Is that a gamble you'd have made, Ruth?
No, but,
Did you like it?
Yeah, I loved it. Do you know what? I think it's showing a statement of intent from Red Bull. They did actually the exact same strategy approach last year when, once again, they had a slower car than McLaren. They started on that soft tyre, it was a C3 last year, to try to, to be leading at the end of lap one. They also then got overtaken after stint one. But I think with the rain coming in, I think it was the right call for them to make because, they have very little to lose, and I think everyone's allowed to run their train set how they want to. And if for them it's more important to try and give their driver, their prize driver that's given them 4 championships, a shot at winning his home race at the expense of maybe some Constructors' Championship points because maybe they're going to risk more to lose rather than, try and safely get P3 home, have at it. I loved the desire to win. And then they fitted softs at the end as well. So, they just kept going for it. It was relentless. They were trying every single thing they could do to win the race. So, from a fan's perspective, stunning. Keep at it, guys. Another 9 goes.
You're Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris. You've got a safety car restart to contend with, and Max Verstappen's on fresh softs behind you.
Oh,
What's going through your mind?
Yeah, hell. Of all the people as well, you got Max there on the softs, and I said it on commentary. As soon as Lando's sitting there on second on the grid, so he's going to wake up this morning thinking he needs to take the lead at the start, need to take the lead. It's all about Lando v Oscar. And then tyre blankets are removed, and by the way, Max is on softs, and you're just like, oh no. And so it played out at the start. It was always going to be the big weapon. Soft tyres on the Red Bull, but it does need the skill of Max to make it really pay off. And this is just a beauty. Round the outside of turn 2, gets on the dusty stuff, is all out of shape, onto the grass with 2 wheels, and he holds it. It needed all of that skill. Otherwise, the soft tyre is wasted. You have to make the most of it, and Max used all his skill to do it.
I have no idea how he saved that as well. It was some moment of skill. The onboard for that is
the driver talent there is just through the roof. Yeah.
Yeah. And well done, Max Verstappen. P2, a podium. He's ended that run of I think it was 4 races without a podium, which was his longest in years. He's ended that streak. It's a podium on home soil, and P2 perhaps the best realistically that Red Bull would have expected for today. He finished just ahead, though, of a driver in the sister team. It's not often we say that, not since Baku 2021, when Pierre Gasly picked up a podium for then AlphaTauri. But Isaac Hadjar is on the podium of a Formula One race. He began his career, as Alex Jake said earlier, in the wall during the formation lap in the rain in Melbourne in tears. 14 races later, he is on the podium. Let's hear from him.
Isaac, a huge congratulations on your first Formula One podium. We're in the buggy on the way to the FIA press conference. How are you feeling right now?
I can't swear, but I'm completely destroyed. I'm dead. Not so happy.
This is so lovely. We've got people cheering as we're driving past as well. You had such a strong starting position on the grid, but to convert it into that podium, what was going through your mind during that race? Just try to take us into the cockpit.
I mean, I was being very realistic at the start of the race. I was like, okay, if I can just keep my position at the start and then not fall too much in the ranking, actually the pace was much stronger than I expected, and at some point I was like, okay, I feel like I can finish 4th here. And obviously with what happened with Lando, I knew I had the car pace to be on the podium and hold my position, and that's what we did. But it was hard not to make any mistakes.
You're the youngest ever French podium sitter. How special does that one feel as well?
Feels good. Alain Prost just texted me.
Oh, wow.
So, it feels amazing to beat those kinds of records.
Congratulations once
Thank you.
again. We'll let you go. Thank you for talking with us.
Thank you.
Thanks a million.
Oh, for Isaac Hadjar, what a result today. And for Racing Bulls as well on that side of the garage, certainly less so perhaps for Liam Lawson, whose race ended pretty much with the collision with Carlos Sainz. OK, let's hear, though, from your race winner, back up to the very top, Oscar Piastri.
Oscar, fair play. You nailed it today. You did everything you needed to do. How pleased are you with?
I feel like I controlled it well. Used the pace when I needed to, saved when I needed to, and obviously the ending was unfortunate for Lando. But yeah, I feel like I had a really good weekend in the sessions where I had ultimately leaving very happy.
I know obviously there's a long way to go in the championship, but is this one of those weekends where it's quite hard to maybe be super happy given what happened to your teammate?
You never want to win or score gain points in that kind of way. Especially when you're in the same team like that, it's obviously a shame and a concern. So, never an ideal thing. I felt like I managed the things I needed to still, but you never want it to end like that.
Well, apologies there just for some of the technical issues. I don't know why it happened on just the McLaren drivers, but we got there in the end, didn't we? That is your race winner here. Let's take a look at what's going to happen next weekend in Monza, a very, very different circuit. Weekend warm-up coming to you for 4:30. You then have free practice, 1:15. 4:45 for FP2, 12:15 for FP3, 3:30 for the pre-qualifying show, 4 p.m. for qualifying, and then on to race day, a 2 p.m. start for your pre-race show to build up to the Italian Grand Prix beginning at 3 p.m. and the post-race show and all of the analysis coming straight after the podium. And we will have plenty of reaction, action, analysis to what we've seen here this weekend on all of your F1 TV favourite shows throughout the week as well. That's Jolyon Palmer's analysis, that's Cool Down Room, Tech Talk, and the like. And do join us again for the Italian Grand Prix next weekend. If you're on YouTube, scan the QR code now. You can see all the information you need to know. Right, Jolyon, before we let you free to go and get your flight home, your thoughts on the Dutch Grand Prix? It's probably not panned out exactly as we anticipated this morning, I'd say.
No, huge race. Well done to Hadjar. Amazing. And a big one for the title battle as well. That's the biggest the championship lead has been all season. So I look to Lando Norris. Can he respond? And he's only got a few days now to wait until he can try.
Ruth, it was ultimately a game of strategy as well today, a bit of luck too. No such thing as a simple one-stop here today.
Yeah, but I think Albon said it better than anybody. You make your own luck. Every car that did well today put themselves in the position to do well, whether that's driving, strategy, reliability. I think it's a really good one.
Thank you both so much for all of your insight, your analysis. Thanks to Lawrence as well in the pen, asking the tough questions to some drivers who did not want to talk to him. Thanks to Ariana for buzzing about the paddock, getting all the reaction for us as well. Big thanks to all of you for watching all of our coverage through the Dutch Grand Prix this weekend. We move then to Monza, to the Italian Grand Prix. Can Lando bounce back? Can Oscar extend that lead in the championship? Importantly, for the Tifosi, can Ferrari answer a double DNF today? We'll have to wait and find out. We'll see you next week.
Next time in Formula One.
This is Monza, and the Italian Grand Prix is underway. The McLarens are side by side. Racy, aggressive, not much room for them.